Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are tuning in. Thank you so much for joining me today for this brief introduction to an online meditation immersive program that I'm offering this coming April 2026. This program is entitled The Healing Power of Kindness. The Healing Power of Kindness. And I created that title for this course from a quote that I've heard Peter Levine, Dr. Peter Levine, the founder of somatic experiencing. He was quoted as saying, "There's only been one modality that's been empirically shown to reverse the effects of adverse childhood experiences, and that one modality is kindness." Kindness. And that's really the spirit of this 12-week program. It's really an opportunity for us as practitioners to get together and really explore this very profound healing quality of kindness. So what I've done here today is I've created a slide presentation, a PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the slides up here as I'm talking. So yeah, this is the course that I was referring to, The Healing Power of Kindness, and it runs from April 12th to July 5th, 2026. And the intentions of this course is so that we are not only bringing kindness to ourselves, although that is the majority of this course, is kindness towards ourselves. And maybe I'll get back to that and explain why that is in a few moments. We're also going to be cycling through mindfulness and meditation practices, drawing primarily from the Buddhist traditions, both the early tradition, Theravada, also the later tradition, Mahayana. But I'm also a licensed clinical trauma professional, and I'll be drawing also from neuropsychology, from the work of Dr. Peter Levine and Dr. Ariel Schwartz, for example, Janina Fisher and others. So we'll be exploring a lot of somatic work and bringing kindness into the body, so we get the felt experience of kindness. Also, very emphasized throughout the course will be the potential, the healing potential of community. And so I'll be really encouraging the group to come together as a community. We'll be doing breakout rooms and dyads, breaking out in dyads and things like that, really helping to draw support from each other as well as what I'm offering in the course. So about me, in case you're not familiar with me or my work, I've been meditating now and practicing, studying as well for 40 years. It's hard to believe, even for myself. I've been teaching since 2009. And I'm deeply trained in the Tibetan tradition, mostly Dzogchen, if you're familiar with Tibetan Buddhism, also Shambhala from the West as well. Some of the other Tibetan schools that I've sort of dug in a little bit. I studied with Mingyur Rinpoche for a couple of years as well. So yeah, you might be familiar with those traditions. I started my work 40 years ago in the Zen tradition, mostly in Soto Zen. Also deeply trained in Theravada Buddhism, the earliest school of Buddhism, which derives from Sri Lanka, Thailand, Burma, and so forth. Vedanta too, a little bit of Vedanta training back when I lived in New York City. I practiced with the Margis, Ananda Marga. And so I was introduced to Vedanta through Ananda Marga. And I stayed with them for a couple of years. So I'm also, as I mentioned, a certified clinical trauma professional. My interest in trauma work is mostly around somatics and somatic psychotherapy. So be drawing quite a bit on that as well. Also deeply studied in the Western medical models of mindfulness, nonviolent communication, for example. Also the insight tradition that comes from the West and many of the other Western mindfulness traditions as well. Now, although on the slide you see me sitting in front of the Buddha, that was actually in Burma. I was lucky enough to go there before the Civil War started in 2020. Yeah, so and you see me there, and you see the wall hangings behind me as well, right? I love these images. They, for me, serve as a reminder to connect to the present moment. But I'm not teaching any kind of religion. I'm not asking anyone to convert to Buddhism or anything like that. I myself don't really consider myself a Buddhist, although if other people think I'm a Buddhist, that's fine too. So I just wanted to address that and to introduce myself a little bit here as we go. So this is sort of a rough map of the intention of the course, right? So I intend to guide us through 2 weeks of offering kindness to aspects of ourself that we like, right? The funny me, or the kind me, or the generous me, or the me that feels grateful. Any number of those, right? Then we'll spend the next 2 weeks offering kindness to aspects of ourselves that we overlook or ignore, right? The neutral parts of ourselves. The me that gets me to work on time, or the me that gets me dressed in the morning, or the me that cooks breakfast, right? These aspects of ourselves that we don't really pay attention to. And we'll offer kindness to those aspects. And then week 5 and week 6, we're offering kindness to the aspects of ourselves that we find challenging. And this is very healing. Right? It might sound a little bit like, I don't know if I really want to go there. That's normal. If you're feeling some resistance come up, that's okay, that's normal. But that is a very, very healing part of the course, right? As we offer kindness to the angry me, or I might offer kindness to the jealous me, or I might offer kindness to the me, the slob in me, right? And then we continue in that vein in offering self-compassion. We move from offering kindness to the challenging aspect of ourselves to another 2 weeks of offering self-compassion to ourselves as a whole. Right? So one might get a feel for that, how that will transition, right? So we're working with, being kind to this part of ourselves that we tend to shun perhaps, or tend to want to suppress sometimes, right? And then we transition from offering self-compassion to all of ourselves. And then we spend 3 weeks offering kindness to others. And then the last week we tie it all together like that. Yeah, so as I'm talking, I'm really feeling the warmth of this already. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a really great course. It's a little bit of a departure from the other kindness courses that I've offered, in that usually we do a few weeks of kindness for ourselves and then we start to offer kindness to others. This is much more about healing ourselves. It's a very healing course. That's the idea. So we spend, I'm looking at it now, really 8 weeks nourishing our own self, nourishing our own nervous system, right? And then from that place, we offer to others. So you might be familiar with this term Brahma Viharas. If you're not, that's fine. Maybe you don't speak Sanskrit. So Brahma Vihara, it's a Sanskrit term, and it literally translates to the home of the gods. The home of the gods. These qualities of the Brahma Viharas, those are kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Those are said to be, at least in the Buddhist tradition, also in the Hindu tradition, these places are the places that the gods like to hang out, basically. And so it's kind of subtle here, but when we offer kindness to aspects of ourselves that we like, that brings up this kind of warmth, and it almost can feel like a celebration. So it's kindness and joy that we're getting a sense of there. When we offer kindness to the aspects of ourselves that we don't notice usually, or that we ignore, that brings up a kind of equanimity, a kind of balance. Right? We realize that we don't need to suppress those, we don't need to covet them either. But maybe if we offer kindness to this neutral part of ourselves, then they become less neutral. Right? We start to see the goodness in there. We start to be able to move to nourish those parts of ourselves. And then when we offer kindness to challenging aspects of ourselves, we feel the warmth of compassion. Right? So rather than pushing away the aspects of ourselves that we don't like, we turn and hold them the way a mother would hold a baby. And there we can maybe get, a hint of the healing potential that's coming in package in this course. So here's the bottom line, all the nitty-gritty details. I'm going to offer this in 2 sections. Originally, I thought I would just be able to do 1 section. I've opened a second section. That's exciting. So section A is going to meet Sunday evenings from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Thai time. I'm in Thailand. That equals 12 noon in France, and it equals 12 noon in France after the clocks move ahead in March, right? Because this is in April. Right, so you might be thinking, oh, that's not quite right, but there is a time change coming. So, and section A is really designed to cater mostly to clients that I serve in Europe, but also people here in Asia, because that's a fine time. People won't be sleeping or anything like that. Australia, New Zealand might also find this time quite accessible. South Africa, perhaps. I'm not familiar with South African time zones. Section B, I'm offering on Monday mornings from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. here in Thailand. So again, people in Asia, if you like an early morning, I do. If you're like me, you like to get up early, get things started, this might be a great section for you to join, right? So Monday mornings. This equals to 6 p.m. on East Coast time of America Sunday evenings. So that's really the primary target of Section B is my friends over in the States, or in North America and South America and Canada. Right? But also people in Asia, of course, welcome. If you like to be up all night in Europe, you would also be welcome. Right? So all of the meetings, all the sessions are offered over Zoom, and they'll be recorded, but the recordings are made available only to the retreat participants. That's so we can hold the confidentiality of the groups, right? We want to cultivate a safe space in these groups so that we all feel free to share what's coming up for us around the practices and so forth. So each session will have a guided meditation, at least one, maybe 2 guided meditations, depending on how the time goes and the discussions and so forth. At least one guided meditation. There'll be Q&A. There'll be an opportunity to meet with me one-on-one if you might find that's helpful. There'll be breakout rooms. There'll be lots of prompts to go home with over the week so you can explore the practices throughout the week. So it's a very interactive experience. I'm there live, right? Nothing is pre-recorded. So I'll be there facilitating with the groups live with each session, right? Everything that I offer is offered within a trauma-sensitive framework. As I mentioned already, I think a couple of times, I am certified as a clinical trauma professional, so I do try to hold that frame within these courses as well, even though we're not specifically working with trauma in the course. The languaging that I use and so forth, all trauma informed. And as I think I mentioned earlier too, everything that I offer is non-denominational. There's no religion being spoken about here. I'm not trying to convert anyone or anything like that. As far as the fee goes, please go to my website to find out more about the fee. The website is suchsweetthunder.org. But I will mention here that the retreat, this course and everything that I do is offered on sliding scale. So go to the website, check out the sliding scale, and if you feel that the lowest echelon on the sliding scale is a little too high for you still, or a lot too high, please message me. My email is here on the slide, yahoo.com, chrisluard@yahoo.com, or you can message me through the website as well. But just let me know if you need some financial assistance, and I'm always happy to work with people. Nobody's ever turned away from these courses for the lack of resources or funds. Thank you again so much for being here for this brief introduction into the Healing Power of Kindness online meditation immersive program, and I hope to see you on the course. And I'll ring the bell to close us out. Thanks.